Thank you for listening to Lone Star Community Radio. This program was broadcasted and recorded live from the LSCR studios in downtown Conroe, Texas. Lone Star Community Radio is supported by listeners like you. Donate and sponsor today. For more information on getting involved with Lone Star Community Radio, contact us at lscrstudios@gmail.com or visit us online at www.irlonestar.com.
Part 2, the continuing saga of the Audience of One show. If you joined us last week, we let you know that we were doing a two-parter this time, and this is the second half of our promise. What's up, Dick?
I figured I'd start the show down because this is part 2 because we're still recording.
Right, exactly right.
And then hopefully I get up.
Do it in reverse.
Towards the end.
Yeah.
But I wanted to tell you something.
Yeah, man.
So we did, on part 1, we talked about what's unattractive to women.
Yes.
And number 1 was...
I'm looking at about half of them right here in front of me.
Yeah. Oh, trust me. I know, and I love it.
Bring it home, baby.
Well, that's when you know they really care.
I suppose.
She really loves me because I do 5 things that are so unattractive. But I want to tell you, the number 1 was video games, right?
Yes.
You know what's crazy is, I believe, September, right? I want to say next month I'll be playing the same game for 20 years.
Again, not something you probably want to put on your Tinder profile, but congratulations.
But that's wild to me. Since high school.
So here's what I'm going to say.
One, playing the
you're
same
probably
game.
not very good at this game if you haven't beaten it by now.
Oh, no, I've crushed it. It's so much fun.
So you just keep playing it over?
It's World of Warcraft.
Okay. So you're playing against other people, and it's not the same game. It's
You
the
do whatever
same
you want in the
game,
game.
but
It's
it's
fun.
not the
It's
same
online,
game.
and
Yeah,
there's new
yeah.
stuff. See, the thing that I want to know, and I'm going to do this
I thought you were
research.
talking about like Mario Brothers, like level 8.3 again.
I'm stuck on Tetris.
Yeah.
I can never seem to
Yeah,
beat
those games
that game.
can vary. I get it, but
Well,
20
World of
years,
Warcraft,
man.
they've come out with different versions of it, or not versions, but more of expansion packs, and they're celebrating their 20th. They made this huge announcement. And with the funniest thing that hit me, there's 2 things. One is I was just as excited about it when I started the game. I'm like, hell yeah, this could be cool. Number 2 is, and I'll do the research for the next episode.
Okay.
I want to find out how much money I've spent, because this game requires a subscription fee.
Oh, no. You may not want to know.
And there's 2 parts I'm going to be just amazed at myself with. Is
Okay.
the money and the time. Because the last time I checked, which was probably 2 years ago, 3 years ago, I want to say my total play time was coming up to a full year.
Total running time.
Like total play time.
Can you imagine that? This does kind of remind me of that story we had months ago about the priest who was using church funds to buy online game like subscriptions. Remember that? And he had spent $42,000.
Yeah, but that's like, those are predatory things. WoW's not like that.
That's
in
still a
way.
lot
There's
of
still
money.
some predatory things, but like you can buy a pet.
Well, you're talking about your specific game, but
Yeah.
just in general, he was spending a lot of time
You
in
have
there.
you have to pay this money to play the game. And it's because it's an online game. They're always coming out with new stuff.
I'm curious.
And then every year, 2 years, they come out with an expansion pack. But it was but what's funny about it, too, is the memories I have of that game. Mm-hmm. Like, I have so many great memories, like with my brother. I got my brother to play with me. And like then I got my like dorm room to play with me. Mm-hmm. And then the friends I still play this game with.
Ladies, he's available. Line up.
Well, a way to my heart is to play World of Warcraft with me. If you want to talk to me,
Via the game.
that's the best way to talk to me.
Get yourself a character, make it kind of hot.
Yeah, so Andrew, if I don't respond to your text, you know what to do. You
Yeah.
know to
Go
log
on,
in and be
log
like,
in.
hey,
I go
Dick.
find
and I'm
him.
like, what's up, adventurer? But
What are you doing today?
yeah, there's some wild things. 'Cause I remember one of my favorite memories in that game was I was in a guild and we're pretty serious. You actually had to do like an application on online, like on the forum. You got to say who you are, what you do for work, because it's all about time. Like, are you able to play at this time? Because we used to do organized events for like 40 plus people. And it's like, you have to be there at this time, and everyone lives across the world, so everyone needs to know their time zones. But one of my favorite was this one guy lived in Brazil, and he would constantly, like, he was one of the leaders, and we would constantly make fun of my buddy, but he didn't know he was my real life friend.
Oh my!
And he was in our guild, but he was always playing next to me.
So wrong, man. How did you find this out, or how did he find out?
Well, because he's like, hey, do you know this XYZ character? And I'm like, yeah, he's in the guild. And he's like, well, I think he's like dating somebody in the guild, but it's like online, and they're doing some weird stuff on the forums, and I don't know how to bring it up to the guild because like we don't use the guild stuff for that kind of stuff. Like they can email each other, they can figure that out because there's a little. And I'm sitting there going, and I had no idea about this, and I'm looking over at my buddy, and I'm like, what's he doing over there? Like, what's he doing that's so wrong? And so I started.
Video game drama. I love it.
Well, it gets better. So we go out to eat.
How can it?
We go out to eat with my buddy, and we went out to eat with a bunch of other WoW people. And I look at him, I'm like, so you dating somebody on WoW? And he's like, what do you mean? What'd you hear? And I'm like, you got a girl?
Wow, World of Warcraft. I'm assuming, yes.
And I'm like, you got a girlfriend online? People do that? I thought that was just kind of like one of those weird stories. And he's like, well, there is a girl. And I'm like, are you gonna go visit her? Bro, I don't know her there yet. And it was wild. But it was great as this guild leader was just like concerned about him because he's like, I don't know if he's getting catfish. I don't know. Man, I'm like, and then I finally
It's a world I know nothing about.
Yeah, and I finally told him, I was like, I know this guy. Like, he literally plays next to me. I'll talk to him.
Well, speaking of talking to people, when is the last time you ran into somebody who didn't speak English and you needed to communicate with them?
I don't know.
I'm sure this has happened before, especially around here. We have a lot of people who do not speak English, and Spanish is their predominant language. And I said hello to someone in the neighborhood the other day, and I thought there may have been a language barrier.
Okay.
And so I was trying to recall the last time that I tried to have that conversation or a conversation with someone who didn't speak English. And I believe it was when I had some folks over that were doing some work on my house, some remodeling work a few years ago. And I always think it's an interesting scenario because when you realize, oh, this person doesn't speak English, we almost reflexively do that thing where we start enunciating more, or we start talking louder, like that's going to suddenly help, or you start using wild hand gestures, and meanwhile they're looking at you like, yeah, dude, I have no idea what you're saying. But we think that that's going to help somehow. Have you ever been guilty of this, of talking louder and enunciating? 100%. Like, oh, maybe you didn't understand. It's, I want a cheeseburger. He's going to go, oh, got it.
Yeah, no, I do have a story. Is this guy...
Is this about the guild again?
No.
Okay, thank God.
Guys, don't listen to him. They listen to the show, and you're dissing them.
Oh, sorry. We love you, onesies.
No, this guy shows up at the house at like 9 a.m., rings the doorbell, and barely spoke any English, and he wanted to... The way he introduced himself, like he's there to do some yard work. And I'm like, I don't remember talking to you. And he was so adamant about starting. Yep. And I was like, no. And he's like, he's like, last year we did this. And I go, no, you didn't.
Oh, you've mentioned this on air, yes.
Yeah. I was like, wrong house.
Yep.
Get out of here.
Hey, he's trying to get a job, man. Trying to get a job.
But it was weird because he's already grabbing the tools. And I'm like, whoa.
I guess he figures if he just goes ahead and starts the job, you're going to be more inclined to say, all right.
No, I honestly thought he had the wrong house. So I was like, hey, no, it might be this one, that one. Like, and I don't know if it was a game or it was like some guy told him, hey, go to this house.
Yeah.
And
have you ever had that scenario, also staying on the speaking Spanish thing, where you're out with a buddy that you know, or maybe they're not even good friends, but you're friends with them to a certain degree, and you go out to a Mexican food restaurant, and he starts trying to order the food in Spanish?
No,
I don't know, just trying to
definitely
show off to the table, like, oh, look at this, I can speak Spanish. And it starts off with a lot of gusto, he's got a lot of confidence, and then it starts to trail off, and then eventually he just starts speaking English again. No, I've had that happen. I'm like, what are you doing?
I have friends who actually speak Spanish, so that's... And what I love is like the thing.
Well, if they can do it, that's fine. Yeah. But this is somebody who tries and then kind of.
But what I hate when
he does
number
3
is he asks me. He wants me to order for
him. What?
Yeah, and I was like, I could still order. I could just point. Like I don't have to order for me. And he like what?
Why would he want you to order for him?
No,
if he speaks Spanish.
No, he wanted my order so he could order for everybody.
Oh, got
in
it. Tell me what
Spanish.
you want so I can order it in Spanish. As if the guy couldn't possibly understand, the guy being the waiter, possibly understand you
and I was like,
ordering
no, man,
in English.
like I can just point. Like we're
Yeah.
good.
Número dos.
Yeah. No, I can't even do that. So I just point.
Con frijoles.
I just point.
Y arroz.
Point. I don't even try.
Dick, have you...
Because that's the worst scenario to be in at those kind of restaurants.
Yeah.
Because if they get the food wrong, like how do you say it's wrong?
Incorrecto.
So that sounds made up to me.
Yeah, pointing, and that is
So the
also why a
point is
lot
the
of
guarantee-
a lot of the restaurants will have pictures of the food too.
Oh yeah.
You're like, yep, I want that right there, and then the guy just nods, and you're like, look at that, we just
Because
communicated.
this is gonna be a side conversation here. When
And
you're
now, side conversations with the audience of one show.
So when you order food, I've gotten to the point where this happened in college. I don't really make any adjustments when I order food anymore because it just I don't know if it's I'm an idiot and I don't know how to speak
Possibly.
to people. But there's always like if I try to change anything, like no onions, half the time it doesn't.
Yeah,
like,
I typically just try and raw dog my order as well and not make any changes either. Because I'm always afraid they're going to mess something up. It's like, I'll just pick it off. Unless I have some sort of like crazy dietary restriction where I'm like, I can't have peanuts. That's one thing.
Is it?
But no, it's not.
Okay.
But I'm saying if it's just something I don't like and it's easily picked off, I'll just
Well,
I'll
not
just
even
pick
that,
it
like a
off.
substitution thing. Like, I don't want refried
Same
beans.
kind of
I
thing.
want charo
Because
beans.
if they do mess it up, is it really that big of a deal? All right, I'll just eat the refried. I ordered charo, but refried will be just fine.
Yeah, see, I don't change it. I just like whatever it comes with, I'll figure it out.
Yeah, I'll make do.
Well, like no matter what restaurant though, that's what's so wild to me. Like I've gotten to that discipline in my mind. It's like you go to this fancy restaurant, they'll do whatever you want. You're paying $190 a plate or whatever, and it's like just
$190 a plate.
Hey, you ever been to a fancy restaurant ever? In your
No,
life?
not that much. Not that fancy.
Really?
$190 a plate? No, man. I don't think I've ever paid more than
So here's
$55-$60 for something.
well, I mean,
I don't
like,
think.
so I went to a place. I think is it Tapas?
Yeah, tapas is it's Spanish for small dish.
Yes, so,
Richard.
but there's restaurants that are not just Spanish food, but they call it tapas.
Yeah, tapas. Yeah.
I didn't understand what that concept was.
Multiple small little dishes.
Yes, so I went for it was like my grandparents' like 45th anniversary. So they took us to this really nice restaurant, like over the top,
Uh-oh.
right? And I'm reading the items, and I was like, oh, that noodle dish sounds good. And I didn't know it was a tapas thing. Mm-hmm. Because it was expensive. I think like that plate was like $27 or something like that. And when they delivered it, I wish someone took a picture of my face. Because it was a plate about as big as this microphone stand. And it had 8 noodles.
Yep.
And some fancy sauce.
Arranged in a very delicate manner.
Oh, and I'm like,
Where's the rest of it?
well, not even that. I was like, did I get the kid size?
Right.
And then I looked at my mom and I was like, and she goes, this is like a tapas restaurant. You're supposed to order multiple things. I'm like,
See, this is one of those words that you wish you knew the meaning of beforehand. I fell into the tapas trap a few years ago in San Diego, down in the Old Town District. I was looking for a place to eat that wasn't going to cost an arm and a leg, and then they have the menus outside of a lot of these restaurants, and I'm looking, no, that's too expensive. I go to the next place, no, that's too expensive. And then I find this one Spanish place. I'm looking at the prices going $18, $19, $20. I can afford that. So I go in. Well, I didn't realize it was tapas. And of course,
Yeah.
that's why it was so cheap, because they were tiny. And so I ended up having to order 3 of them and just to make a meal. And of course, it
Yeah,
was just as
and
expensive, if not more expensive than
Yeah.
the other places. So
it was the funniest thing because I was like, can I order more? Like, I don't want to spend a bunch of money. I was like, I can eat later or whatever. But I ate a lot of cake.
bet you did, because there was no tapas with the cake.
And
it was just
the pasta
normal.
wasn't even that good.
The nerve.
I told the guy, I was like, "This is no, I'm just kidding." But I love those moments when you ordering food is such a funny, delicate thing, and especially with the server trying to earn tips.
Yeah.
And you don't send food back, do you?
Not usually, man. It would have to be really jacked up. I'm pretty easy going with that stuff. I'm like, it's not perfect, whatever. I'm just going to eat it. Unless there is literally something wrong, I'm not sending it.
Yeah, I think the only time I've ever done it was like it was fully raw.
Yeah,
and I'm like,
something like
I guess I could. It's raw. I'm not doing it.
Yeah. Dick, I got a question for you. Have you ever, or when is the last time you have ever worn a Speedo. And do you know what? Not just the brand name Speedo. I'm talking about the very
I don't
small
think I ever worn. Why would I ever be in a
swimming
situation
garment.
I buy one?
Well, it is definitely a cultural thing. I'm going to go out here on record, onesies and Montgomery County, Conroe. I'm just going to tell you right now, I've never worn a Speedo. The idea of it just does not. You see so much of it in the Olympics. It's like, good God, dude, the guy practically
Well, that
looks
makes
naked.
sense because it's like
Sure,
they're in
right.
A
There's
competitive
probably
sport.
There's probably a reason why they're doing it. Well, the reason I bring it up
Why do divers
is
wear
because
it?
I don't know. I'm sure there's a reason. The reason I bring it up is because when I was in Las Vegas a couple of months ago, went out to the pool with my buddies, and there was quite a few people out there, and there was one guy wearing a Speedo.
Oh yeah.
And he did appear to be culturally maybe of a different background than maybe a lot of the people that were there. But it got me wondering if this guy's looking around thinking, I'm the only one here wearing a Speedo. Dude, he looked so odd, so out of place.
You're the one that cares about that. I doubt he cared.
Yeah, you're damn right I care about it. I got to look at that.
I bet he didn't care at all.
I bet he didn't. But it begged the question, though. Did he look around and realize, I'm the only one who looks like this? Perhaps I should go get some frickin' board shorts or something, man. Fit in a little bit more. But now he's walking around and all of his glory hanging out. Go! It was so weird.
You're in Vegas trying to pick up chicks.
Yeah, that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. In fact, I bet most chicks find that, especially American women, unattractive. The Speedo is not a good look, man.
It's not on the list.
It's not on the list because it's not a hobby. Unless wearing a Speedo is a hobby.
Well, I mean, he might have been a swimmer, and that's the only bathing suit he brought.
Yeah, maybe so.
I don't know. I like it though. I mean, it's
I
one of
bet
those.
you
Well,
would.
it's kind of like those chubbies.
Yeah, you don't want to get one of those in there.
Well, no,
Everyone's going to
no,
know.
the brand.
Oh, right, gotcha, yes.
Because I told you I got one. It was a gift.
Yeah.
And at first
it's
I
like
thought
a 5-inch inseam. You're like, dude, my sack's about to fall
Well, no,
out.
I was like, these are great, but they're way too short. Like this has to be the wrong size.
You have to have good quads to wear those. Look at this. Check out my
But
quads.
I looked it up. That's just the style.
It
and
is
I'm
the
like,
style now, but it's a style for younger men. I think you have to have a very flat belly and nicely toned legs in order for the
thank
chubby.
you.
In order for
you.
the chubby to really.
No,
really
actually,
work.
what's funny is I wear them mainly because they're Whataburger and they're tight. I think they look cool. The
that's good.
The pattern's cool. And but there are moments when I feel exposed when I'm wearing them. Mm-hmm. Especially when I'm like laying on a tube because we went tubing at your old stomping ground.
You're right.
And there were moments where I was like, I'm just showing way too much white right now. But then I was like, screw it.
This is places the sun doesn't even normally see.
Yeah.
My friends don't need to see this. Yeah.
Well, no, like the inlay, they have that, certain bathing suits have that thing that's like inside the bathing
Yeah,
suit.
the inseam, the underwear, basically.
So mine looks cool because it has the Whataburger stripes. And I was like, oh, it's cool. But then again, it's like, if those are being shown right now, that means I shouldn't be adjusting this way. I need to.
Right. If you put your keys in the pocket and they hang down lower than the actual bottom of the shorts, they're too short. They are too short. All right, Dick, let's go ahead and kick this show off, part 2. And I guess we
I'm
should
supposed to
remind
hit
everybody.
record?
Yeah, let's hit record this time. Let me remind everybody we are on 106.1 and 104.5, and we are the Audience of One show there.
And the new time.
Yes, we are now Fridays
At
10 a.m. This is the second week of doing this. Yeah.
That's because
Even though it's part 2, it feels like the first time.
People don't know I am a new daddy, and I have to babysit this, out of wedlock child. And
I love this made-up on-the-fly story. Continue. What is this child's name?
And I told this lady, the lady of the night.
This lady.
I was like, I can only do Wednesdays, so I gotta switch up AOO to Fridays.
This is the truth, everyone. This is the real reason why we're moving to Fridays.
I told her
now.
only 1 hour a week I'll spend time with that kid.
I am feeling much different now, broadcasting on a Friday as opposed to a Wednesday. I feel much more free, much closer to the weekend, I don't know.
I don't think I've gotten out of the weekend.
You live in a perpetual
Yeah.
state of weekend.
I think that's especially how I'm sitting right now.
You have raised up a little
I
bit.
know, I'm getting really excited. I'm getting excited about this. This is a great show. Part 2.
Part 2, baby. Well, from The Telegraph, a sexually frustrated dolphin is blamed for 18 different attacks on swimmers in Japan. Have you heard
Oh
this
yeah,
story,
the
man?
lonely dolphin.
The lonely dolphin. Yeah, maybe there was a guy out there in a Speedo and the dolphin just couldn't help himself. But they're saying this is pretty amazing that this is the same dolphin. It's not just like a pack of horny dolphins. This is just one dolphin going around getting him a little human interaction.
Maybe a human killed his baby or his wife, and he's like,
I'm seeking revenge.
on every human being.
Is this like a John Wick thing or what? It says since July this year, 18 people have been hurt in dolphin attacks near the seaside town of Mihama, with some requiring dozens of stitches. Okay. I've seen some dolphins. Now, most people think dolphins are very majestic and they're very pretty and cute, and they are, but they are, after all, mammals. And you know what that means.
They have a pee-pee?
They do. And women dolphins, if that's a thing, have the women part. And as you can imagine, they need companionship. And if dolphins aren't getting the companionship they need, I have heard
Humans
that
do
they
this too.
Yes, they are aggressive in their.
Maybe that's what the guy on the plane was trying to do when he whipped it out and started peeing. He's like, I just got to clear the tube first, and then I'm going to go.
It says, while dolphins rarely attack humans but have been known to bite or pull people underwater if they feel threatened or harassed. I have seen that. They get their nose into like the chest of someone and just dive and just push them under the water. It's pretty violent. However, this seems to be he's attacking with a different end of his body.
Man, that'd be wild to watch.
Yeah, I think it'd be wild. But my thought is, if you were to get attacked by a dolphin, would you know immediately that it was of the sexual kind? Because if you got attacked, as I just said, biting, tearing, pushing down, whatever, you'd be like, oh my gosh, that dolphin,
I'd reciprocate.
Or
I'd
would
be
you be
you
like,
wanna go rough, baby?
that dolphin just tried to make love to me?
Yeah,
I
I'd be
think
like,
you're going to know, right?
and I immediately grab that thing by the nose, like, I'm not the submissive, I'm the dominant. And then I show him who's boss.
Flip him over
And
and
I flip him over. I do
show
whatever.
him show him on his way.
No, I'd slap him on the butt. I go, I'll give you a 5-second start, and I'll chase you down.
Oh, man.
Isn't that how you're supposed to find a mate?
Something, yes. Something like that.
Start running. Well, the dolphin thing, that story amazed me because, like, at one point they go, "Hey, this might be just a singular dolphin. Like, this isn't just
one alpha male dolphin out there."
He's missing an eye. What, John? He said the dolphin's missing an eye.
It says
The last report, missing an eye.
It says the Japanese authorities have tried a number of measures to try and stop attacks, including installing dozens of underwater acoustic devices designed to deter dolphins or limiting swimming hours on some beaches. Hey, I have an idea. How about you just get him a female dolphin?
Like a robot?
A robot dolphin.
Yeah.
I mean,
Where's Elon?
do you think he'd be able to tell? You're right. Let's get Elon on this.
Yeah.
Do you think the dolphin would be able to tell the difference between a fake robot dolphin and another?
Well, like you
real-life
said,
dolphin?
Mammal. So I don't think he just needs
He may not care. Actually, he may like it more. This dolphin's into it's his kink.
Well, man, that's what's going to happen to mankind. Men are going to be like, oh, I can just do a robot? Cha-ching.
I think it's kind of already there in certain cultures.
Would you judge me if I owned, like, a chicken ranch, but it was with robots?
No judgment here.
When I say chicken ranch,
In fact, I'd be surprised if you told me you hadn't at least considered it.
If people don't know what I'm talking about, there's an old story in Texas that there was a chicken ranch, but basically it was like a whorehouse.
Yeah, it's in Vegas, right?
No, like
Chicken ranch?
original
Oh,
here.
here?
It was
Oh,
it was
no.
around Houston because Marvin Zindler was you know who Marvin Zindler is?
No. You know
You
what?
don't know who Marvin Zindler
That
is?
look
Oh,
on
you
your
don't. You're
face.
not from Houston. That's right.
No, not originally.
Dude,
You know a lot about this.
Oh, because it's a musical. They turned it into a musical,
Ah, okay.
and because the town didn't really care.
This is kind of like the Gwyneth Paltrow thing they turned into a
No,
musical.
it's straight up. It has Burt Reynolds and Dolly Parton in it,
Oh, actually, sounds great.
and my sister loved it. That's the only reason
Wait,
I know.
I have seen this. This is called
The Best Little Whorehouse.
Best Little Whorehouse. Yeah,
but
of
it's
course.
called the Chicken Ranch. I
Oh,
want to
yeah,
say
yeah. Okay,
that was the nickname in the town.
No, absolutely, I've seen that. I
And
didn't know
Marvin-
what you were referring to.
Yeah, and but I'll have one with just robots. And if you ever need a
'Cause of
job,
course.
I need a cleanup guy. And
Oh God, are you talking like mop and bucket?
well, you got to clean the robots.
Yeah, this is true.
Yeah. But I wonder how society would reflect on that because
Not well.
you know what I would do if I
Not
owned that.
well.
If I owned that,
Uh-huh.
you know what I would 100% do on my business card and everything. I'd tell people I was a pimp. 100%.
A robot dolphin pimp. There you go.
Well, I mean, like, it's technically a pimp, right?
I mean, by the definition, I suppose you're right.
I got my leg. Can you imagine that? But
Oh my God.
but I can't believe you don't know who Marvin Zindler is because
Part 2. Why did we even do this?
here, look, I'm gonna show you Marvin Zindler.
Okay, you can show me Marvin
No,
Zindler.
you're
I'm gonna
gonna-
move.
you're
I'm
gonna
gonna
love
move
it.
on
You're
to the
gonna
next
love this
story.
You're gonna love how this guy looks, and
Oh my God.
so Marvin Zindler was a I guess he's a journalist. He's a news reporter here in Houston, and he always wore these blue glasses, right?
Yeah, I'm looking at him now. He does look
And-
awfully sus.
Oh, he did a segment when I was growing up called "Slime in the Ice Machine,"
Okay.
and
Is this a euphemism?
no? So this is so bizarre to me. So
Good God.
he does reviews of restaurants, and part of the health inspection is if there was slime in the ice machine, that became like the joke on the show. He's like, and guess what, folks? Here he
Put
is.
the slime in the ice machine.
Reasons why health inspectors ask these places to voluntarily close to shape up.
Look at that toupee.
Leo's popular coffee
I
shop
can't tell at all.
downtown on Fannin
looks
was infested
perfectly
with
normal to me.
mice and roaches. There were 2 dead mice.
But this is every week he had a
mouse puppies in the
restaurant talking
storage
trash
area,
about him.
And roaches were crawling on
Or he
the
talked trash
condiment
about them.
coupe.
Oh yeah,
There
but it was never
also
positive
slime and
reviews.
mold on
So
the
you
ice
know when this
machine.
came on.
Poor Charlie
Yeah,
found
you
Clay
knew
had
if you saw your
roaches
restaurant
in
on
the
there, you're like, oh,
kitchen
great.
and
Or if he walked
sinking
in,
up on the
oh,
ceiling.
man. So he never
Mouse
gave a good
puppies
review,
in kitchen
essentially.
cabinets and storerooms,
What does this have to do with the chicken
and
ranch again?
uncovered food in
He
the
was
coop.
he was the investigator.
Oh,
and
gotcha,
He
gotcha.
got a lot of flack for it because people were like, "We don't care," and he tried to make it a big deal because he's trying to be a name for himself. And apparently, he got kicked out, or like he got beat up, or something, or he got escorted out. And
Interesting. No, I will have to do a little investigation on this
but this guy, oh man, see, I wanted to play the song because they developed a jingle for this segment called "Slime in the Ice Machine" or something like that. It's something crazy. I want to find it. I'm gonna find it. Hold on.
Well, I will move. Oh, or you, I think you already
Yeah,
found it.
here
Oh,
we
he's
go.
singing. That is a jam.
And thanks to the
You're so proud of yourself. That is pretty cool. And he's local?
Oh yeah, he was Houston dude,
Okay.
and
Yeah, those glasses are obnoxiously blue, by the way.
yeah.
Okay. Well, I know I want to do this story about the French actor Alain Delon. Is that how you say his name? And you knew who this person was. I
DeLeon?
did not.
DeLeon?
DeLeon?
Oh, you're gonna love this guy.
Yeah, Alain Delon. I didn't know he was a French actor that really rose to fame in the 60s and 70s. He recently passed away, but he had some demands to his family that his dog be euthanized and buried with him when he died. Dude, that's so wrong.
I like it.
No, that's horrible. And of course, the family, I guess, said sure when he was alive, and after he passed, said no, we're not doing that. That poor dog. I mean, if the dog, it's kind of a really selfish act by this guy if you think about it, because especially if the dog is healthy midlife, and you're saying, let's kill that dog, and put it in here with me.
Well, I don't understand
an
why.
ass.
No. The thing I don't understand about this logic is why don't you just euthanize the dog now,
Or just not do it.
and then when you die, you get buried with it
What's the difference? The dog's still dying prematurely.
Because to me, like if okay,
and then you got to taxidermy that thing up, and we all know that's an unattractive hobby.
So follow my logic here.
Oh, God.
So
Twist like a
if-
pretzel to follow this.
I'm not gonna I'm not gonna judge people. To me, it's kind of weird, but to kill the dog first, to me, is like if that's your ultimate goal, like you really want to be buried with your puppy, that's what you do because you know it's gonna happen. The dog's already dead. You killed it, and you die and you get buried. But if I ask you, my family, to do it, it's almost like he's saying, "F
Yeah.
you, family."
I can't do it, but I want you to kill
Yeah,
it.
see, I
Okay, at
think-
least he's taking some of the responsibility
Well, no, I think he's
in doing it
being
himself.
mean to his family on
No,
purpose.
but right. If he's
I-
doing it, at least he's taking some of the responsibility. Okay.
And what's hilarious to me, and it got me thinking when I read this, because this guy's a famous actor, and I've known him before this story. But it got me thinking, like, what happens if you're a rich dude, and I tell the will people who make my will, it's like, hey, Andrew's not going to get
A lawyer?
a cent until he kills my dog and buries me with it. Like, can you do that?
You know, you bring up an interesting point. I don't know. I don't know that legally you can make someone do something illegal
You can
And I
kill your
don't know
dog.
if killing your dog would fall into that or not.
Well, I'm not saying illegal. I'm just saying like
Well, but I'm thinking
you,
it would
you
be.
can create some weird scenarios.
I imagine you could create some weird scenarios, but I'm saying in the confines of those weird scenarios, I don't think any illegal activity could occur. Whether or not euthanizing a healthy dog is or is
Well, I'm
not,
not talking
I don't
about illegal stuff. I'm talking about like, say, Andrew, I'll give you $100 million when I die, but you have to divorce your wife
know. Okay.
because I don't like your wife. I never met her. This is a joke. But I meant like I can see these kind of scenarios.
Yeah, I could see where that is.
Like, say you have a child and you hate his wife or her husband,
Mm-hmm.
and like never respected the guy, whatever. It's like, daughter, I'll give you this estate only if you divorce this dude.
I imagine things like that have occurred, and I bet you that legally is probably allowed.
Because I've the prenups and postnups are pretty interesting too.
Sure.
Because a wild one I heard about the other day was this rich dude basically said in a prenup the alimony will be adjusted depending on her weight when she wants to like divorce. So at the time at the time of the signing, you say she's like 165, and then I think it's every 5 pounds she gained, the alimony gets reduced by like 10% or something like that, something wild.
That is wild.
And so I guess.
Oh, man.
To me, that's hilarious. But
Yeah.
also,
Yeah.
you're marrying a rich dude, so is it really like? It's kind of a weird thing to society to ask that. But then again, it's like people always tell me when I get in trouble in relationships, I have an expectation of you. So I'm like, so if I do these things, I get this. Well, guess what? That's not always the truth, is it?
No, it isn't the
It
truth.
isn't.
You know what is the truth? It's a pretty good time to take a break. And
No,
also,
no.
we wanted to
Before we
bring
go.
a new sponsor
Oh, no,
to
no,
the show,
we're-
right?
We'll talk. Oh, I'm excited about talking to the sponsor.
Oh, okay,
I'm
you wanna
excited. I want to talk
preview
about this Alan DeLong guy.
Oh,
real
God,
quick.
we're back to this.
So-
oh, that's right. You did want to talk.
I wanted to. What amazed me about this guy is the women he dated.
Yeah. You want to cover that when we come back? Let's cover that when we come back from the break.
Okay, all right.
Because I know you want to talk a little
But
bit
we
about
got to talk about. No, we don't have a sponsor per se. What it is, it's a fundraising / merch.
that. Yeah, we were talking about merch last week.
Last
on part one.
yeah, part one, and then we're like, hey, why don't we try to make some money off of this?
This is true.
And we know what the world needs. We know what the audiences want on what the onesies want, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna take a quick break because we're gonna play our new announcement for our merch, right?
That's correct.
And yeah,
We'll be right back,
so
onesies.
we'll be right back.
Are you sad that the Panera Surge Lemonade is going away? No worries. The audience of One Show has you covered. Do you love shaky hands and heart palpitations with thoughts of running through a wall like the cool Aid Man? If so, then you are gonna love the new beverage from the audience of One Show. Introducing Geeked Soda. Geeked Soda is the most patriotic caffeinated soda on the market today, offering you over 1,500 milligrams of organically sourced, farm-to-table caffeine, milked directly from the finest of caffeine plants. Not woke, like the other energy beverages, drinking Geeked Soda is literally taking your life into your own hands. Consider this, the One Drink Challenge. Available in orange, grape, and fentanyl flavor, we got it all covered. Drink at your own risk. Available only at irlonestar.com/AOO.
Yeah, what was that?
I don't know. I think it's on a bad loop. Welcome back to Audience of One. Here, I have to change a lot of the graphics, by the way. I haven't done that. It's Fridays at 10, not Wednesdays at 10. We moved. That's when the podcast will be released, the YouTube, all that kind of good stuff will now be Fridays. It says Wednesday up top, but let's just scratch that and say
Friday.
no. But you can always email us at audienceofoneshow@gmail.com with all your funny stories, memes, or anything you want to talk about, because I love to talk about random stuff.
Indeed, you do.
And one of the things that we were leaving off last segment was the actor.
Your favorite actor.
Well, he's not my favorite actor. He's actually a really big jerk.
Sounds like it. I mean, wanting to kill his
really-
dog, asking others to kill his dog for him, yeah.
after he died. But anyway, it's Alan DeLon. If you look him up, he's dated, like, I'm talking the hottest chicks ever back in the day.
Okay.
So on the list, several models several important people in France, but he also dated a lot of actresses like Anne Margaret, Lana Wood, Nico. Do you know who Nico is? You ever heard of Nico back in the 60s? She was a big singer.
Yeah, maybe.
But the women amazed me because usually most people who are famous have like 1 to 5 partners, maybe if they're like
Sure.
out there.
Do you think you could get Taylor Swift?
But no, this dude had like 20. And it was a known thing. Like he would just date whoever's
Like at
on,
one
on
time?
on the movie he's making.
Oh, God.
Look,
If you're the
yeah.
actress, you realize he's out of you. Well,
But-
this is going to happen.
But
Great.
it went all the way to like the 90s, where he was just
Slinging it, huh?
and you don't know how many kids he has. Like there's actually court cases of kids saying that's my dad, and he's like, no, you're not.
Now, what if he had asked for one of those guys to be buried with him? Euthanize one of those kids. I want to be buried with him.
But like, yeah, and I think the youngest
Weird guy, man. Weird guy.
Oh, dude. Well, it's not even that. It's more of like, I wonder how this happened. Because I think in the year 2000,
How
married,
he became a jerk, or
he married this woman. This woman had kids with her, and I think she was like 30 something, and he had to be like in the 70s. So he was just like keeping them young the whole time.
well, you know what helps? Drinking geeked soda.
Oh yeah, you like that commercial?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, it's gonna be. We're doing the first batch coming up here.
It's
in December.
artisan small batched energy drinks.
But
is what
it's,
it is.
most importantly, it's gonna be launched for Christmas, so you can buy
Just
it
in time. Yeah,
for your dog.
they love it.
For your dolphin, if you're having problems with your dolphin.
If you're running low on fuel for your hybrid, you can
Yeah.
just put it right in there as well.
Yeah.
That's right. That is our first attempt at fundraising, so we hope to be selling it by the bushel. Is that what Geek Soda comes in?
Yeah.
By the bushel?
We sell. I thought we sold it by the barrel.
Yeah, and get a
And
keg.
You just dip your cup in it, and you're like, yeah.
Oh, like an open top.
Yeah. Just the way it's delivered, dog.
Can you imagine 1,200 milligrams per serving
Yeah.
of caffeine?
Or we actually deliver it in the toilet.
Oh no, that's overboard. No, we don't actually do that. Onesies. He's joking about that part. We're trying to sell some of this stuff.
Oh, it's called a
man.
porta potty. Sorry, we got it wrong. It's a bigger barrel.
Anyways, well, I hope you enjoy your Geek Soda onesies. I saw something the other day that I hadn't seen in a while, and it was a sticker on the back of a car that said "Tiny Human on Board." And I say I hadn't seen it in a while. Well, it kind of reminded me, I guess this is the new version of the baby on board stickers that I used to see a lot of back in the 80s and 90s. It seemed like it was that orange or yellow, diamond that people would stick up in the back of their car. Well, this one said "Tiny Human." And I thought, well, that's strange. I hadn't seen a baby on board in a while. And then like 2 days later, I see a baby on board sticker. So I don't know if these are making a comeback or not, but what are the coincidences that I would see 2 of them in about 2 days? But it did get me thinking, like, what are they trying to say? Are they just wanting you to know that they have procreated, or are they expecting you to drive differently because they have a baby on board? Like, what? I don't understand. It's like, okay, you got a kid, big freaking deal, I don't understand this. I didn't really think about it when I was younger, but now that I saw it again here recently, I just don't understand it. What's the deal with the baby on board?
I mean, it
Sounded like Seinfeld there.
I think it's exactly what you just said is to let people know, hey, be cautious.
Is that what it is?
Yeah. But see, what's weird to me about that, like,
I don't know. I guess if I just came up on a car that had that, I'm not going to suddenly go, whoa. I was driving erratically there, but since you have a baby, I suppose I will adhere to all safety and traffic laws.
which you should already be doing, regardless.
Right, exactly.
I would just put a student driver sticker on your car.
No, because people like you jack with people that have student drivers.
I don't jack with anybody with driving.
Yeah, you would pull in front of them real quick and like brake check them, be like, "Welcome to the real world, bitch." I know you. I know you.
I wouldn't do that on the road. I don't put anyone else in their life in danger. I wouldn't do that. Yeah, it depends on how good the joke is. And the car, the car wouldn't be fun because I have my own vehicle. I'm like, well, that's like putting my own self at risk. It's like I can get that too from this guy. I don't want it.
Okay.
But the baby on board stuff's hilarious to me though, because I wonder what people's expectations. It's kind of like people putting the 100 sticker on, and then like they double up on it. The 100 Club. You ever seen those?
Yeah, is that basically how many miles they've run or kilometers or
No.
races that they've been in?
No,
What does all that mean?
No, the 100 Club. You know what I'm talking about.
I may not. I
Okay.
think I'm assuming you're talking about the ones that say like 30.2. You're like, all right, well, that's he ran a marathon or whatever, an ultra marathon.
So in Houston, they have a thing. Again, it's a Houston thing. I guess that's why you don't know about it. They have a thing called the 100 Club, which is, I want to say, a nonprofit organization like to serve the police department. Like they help the police department in different aspects. Like I don't know, like if they're injured, or like they help the family with money or something.
Okay.
Well, anyway, it became like a weird not superstition. Like a what's another word for a mystery or a myth? It became like a myth.
Mm-hmm.
That if you had the 100 Club sticker on your car, the police would treat you nicer if they pull you over.
Oh, right, because they know, oh, you're donating to a police cause. It's kind of like I back the blue, or you have a thin blue line across.
Yes.
You're like, well, look at me. I can drive 100 now because, well, I back the blue. Okay, gotcha.
And-
I've seen those. I have absolutely 100 seen those before.
Yeah, and the sticker, and what I love is
Did not know what it meant. Yeah, and they start stacking them on top
they
of each
start
other.
stacking. As every color has a certain year.
Right.
I don't think it's money. I think it's
We need to start selling just those, just the
Yeah.
stickers. You don't actually have to donate.
And to give the audience an idea what it looks like, I'm pulling it up.
Yeah, well, I have. Okay.
So to the right, you see this kind of overlay. So you'd get a sticker just like the singular one, and people would stack them. Mm-hmm. And the other day, I kid you not, I think I saw one with at least 12 to 15 of them, and it went all up the left side of the car. And I was like, at one point,
yeah.
you're
I've
going to
seen
get
that.
in trouble. Like, you're actually going to get pulled over because you can't see out your back window.
Or some guy goes, the police pulls you over and says, I know you're not being truthful right now because you would have donated like $100,000 at this point with the amount of stickers that you have on there. I'm calling BS on this, and then just give him a ticket for that. I mean, possibly. I don't know.
I don't know. But that was a myth. It is a myth. I asked my uncle, who was an officer, I think he might still be, but he's like, he let me in on a secret. You know, he told me.
What did he tell you?
He's like, hey, when you get pulled over by a human, and humans can do whatever they want. So if they like the sticker, they like the sticker. If they don't like the sticker, they don't like it. If they like your face, they like your face. If they don't like your face, you're going to jail.
Speaking of getting pulled over, I remember you telling me that you were stopped by the police or questioned by the police when you were asking for an arcade in the mall. This was probably last year sometime.
Yeah.
And you said the police officer was older than you, and he did not know what an arcade was, and you thought there was no way, he was messing with you. Well, let's flip this scenario around. A cop that's younger than you stops you. Have you ever had this happen, where someone in an authority position, like a police officer, pulls you over, but they're significantly younger than you?
Oh, yeah.
How do you handle that? Are you kind of like, all right, dude, you're just a kid. You can't boss me around. Or do you treat it completely the same?
He's a peace officer in the area, and I respect that. The thing I don't like about younger officers is they don't know the protocols in and out.
I mean, you would hope that they do.
Well, because I have it's not really like a great story, but it's like right when I bought my truck. Mm-hmm. And this is literally, I got pulled over.
Oh, yeah, you got pulled over. Was that officer older or younger than you?
Way younger. I think he was like in his early 20s.
Did we talk about this then already?
No, and I kind of straight up go, hey, this car is registered, but I don't have any of the paperwork because
I literally just bought it.
I literally bought it
yesterday,
last Tuesday or something like that. And he kept coming back going, man, this car isn't like, is this a new car? And he asked me like 3 times. I'm like, dude, what are you like? Because he only knows that one protocol, and it's not. It's a different type of protocol.
Yeah, I have an equal respect regardless if they're older or younger as well. But I do think it's interesting of just dealing with authority figures that are younger than you. As you age, that's going to happen naturally.
Yeah.
And it is kind of one of those things you just kind of have to get used to. As you get older, people are going to be younger than you. And I remember my grandfather saying at one point, the first time he ever felt old was when the President of the United States was younger than him. And I was like, wow, I didn't really think about that. It's because that's the ultimate authority figure. He's like, he can't possibly know what he's talking about. He's younger than me.
Well, we got to wait. Now it's just the average is 80, so
Right,
man,
yeah,
if I get to 80, I'll be happy. That means I could run for president. And
Oh, man.
But yeah, the 100 Club's really interesting. I always like
Yeah.
that. I like those
Well,
little myths.
I'll have to see about getting me a few of those. Dick, have you ever been to the State Fair of Texas? My assumption is no.
You mean in Dallas?
Yeah, because it's in Dallas.
Yeah.
You have been.
Big Tex.
Big Tex. It's sad, but I lived in that area for nearly 20 years, and I have never been to the State Fair of Texas?
Yeah, I went because one of a family friend was participating in one of the roping events,
Yeah?
and so we all went to go cheer him on.
That's cool, man. I have been to some larger fairs before, and I kind of feel like they're all basically the same. So part of me feels like I need to go just because I need to experience it, but I have a feeling it's going to be very little different from any other fair that's got rides and games and
You
food.
ever been to a small town fair?
Oh, yeah, small town.
Those
I've been.
are the best.
Yeah,
Because
well-
you can drink anywhere you want.
Yeah, and there's always somebody who's like cross-eyed running the tilt-a-whirl, and you're like, I don't know, I'm taking my life in my own hands here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Those are the best, though.
Did you ever do the thing, speaking of fairs, like where you buy tickets for your food and your games, and at the end of the day, you're leaving, you still have some left over, so you find somebody to give them to, and
Oh,
it makes
yeah.
you feel like really benevolent. You're like, here you go, sir. Here's some extra tickets. You feel like you're really doing something for society because you're giving them, your tickets. But do you do the trick where you just try and find like a family of 4, or do you find like a cute chick and be like, maybe I can use this as an in?
Well, according to the unattractive list, games are not attractive.
But this is money. This is essentially cash. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not necessarily just games. It could be for food, rides, anything. I typically go for the dad who's got some kids, and he's like, looks like he's going, oh my God, this is costing me a fortune. I'll give him like 4 tickets and be like, there you go, buddy. And there's 75 cents. And I feel pretty good about it. But I think there's certainly a scenario in your situation where you might be a little more selective in who you give
I'd be
your
like-
tickets to.
Ticket for a kiss. Ticket for a kiss.
All right, that's one way to get thrown out. Creep.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that. I wouldn't. I just throw away the tickets and I'd drop on the floor.
So are you a fair guy? You like the fair? You seem like you're a guy who would like the fair, state or otherwise.
So I know I come off as a kind of a butthead when I'm on dates and doing things, but that was one of the best funny scenarios I've been on. Was I was on a date, and I'm a ride guy. Like I love the crazy rides.
You love to give a good ride,
I
or
like roller coasters.
Oh, gotcha.
I like
Yeah,
all that stuff. So when we went, I remember,
Don't say that on a first date. By the way, I'm a ride guy. Maybe taken the wrong way. Continue.
Well, I'm gonna say if I want to do something, I want to go do it. Well, anyway, we get there. You're doing the tickets, right? And there was like a price difference between, like like you're saying, you're buying tickets or tokens, and it's like, oh, for $20 you can just do unlimited rides. And I'm like, yeah, I'm doing that.
I'm all about it.
And so I was like, I'm gonna get 2 of these, and she was like, no, I don't really like to ride rides.
That's right.
And then I was like, my logic was like, but I do, so I'm gonna get one. So I got this unlimited ride pass, and I got a couple tickets for her if she wanted to ride. And what's funny about the day is it turned into, I got to justify buying this pass, so I'm gonna try to ride as many rides.
As many as you can. I don't care if I'm throwing up or not, man. Let's go.
And what I love is she talked more to the people around her waiting on me while I'm riding the ride than I actually talked to her. If that makes sense. Like, because I was sitting there like, I'm going to go on that ride again. That was a lot of fun.
So she just stood there and watched you ride rides.
Oh, yeah.
And you are a hit on dates. Well, the thing I like about the State Fair of Texas is all of the crazy food. They do all the crazy food items. And I have a list here of some of the winners. We'll read through just a couple of them because they're kind of funny. But best taste in the sweet category is Russo's cotton candy bacon on a stick. Oh, I'm assuming that's just bacon that they have dipped into cotton candy. I don't know. They're showing a picture of it there, but that's kind of weird. Most creative goes to the Texas Sugar Rush Pickles. This is a cotton candy flavored pickle. Slices are coated in Lucky Charms, Fruit Loops, Captain Crunch, and layered in cotton candy sugar crystals, and of course, as if that was not enough, powdered sugar on top.
All right, I got the bacon.
Good
I think this is
God.
the bacon. I want to show it to the. That looks disgusting.
Yeah, it really does. It's just got candy on bacon. I don't get it. The best taste savory goes to the Dominican Frutilla Dog by Justin Martinez. I like this. The dish was described as having a, quote, explosion of flavor. That's how people describe those dates with you, I believe. Includes a fritura cheese and a Dominican salami, and then double deep fried in corn dog batter, split open and topped with garlic plantain chips, and top secret Dominican sauce and cilantro.
See, if I ordered this,
That does sound pretty
I'm
good.
showing it. I wouldn't know where to start.
From the end, buddy. From the end.
No, but like they already opened it. So it's like, do you just split it in half and give one half to another person, or?
I think you do it any way you want, buddy.
And
It's up to you.
I don't know if you got into the age yet. Like, I wouldn't want to eat that. when I get there. 'Cause
Yeah,
I'm like,
true. Or on a date.
Yeah.
Because then the rest of the time you're miserable and or you're inappropriate on the date because things are happening.
Because you're like, I got to work this off. We got to go in the porta potty real quick.
Something.
Wink, wink.
Oh, gross. Here's a tip, dating tip, advice for you, Dick. Don't take a chick into the porta potty. It's not an area that they probably consider conducive to lovey-dovey time. Just gonna say that.
I can do whatever I want, Andrew.
You probably can.
And we want some privacy.
You probably can.
And she didn't want to get the all-day ride past band, so we can't.
Give her some geek soda.
We can't do it on the Ferris wheel, can we?
Yeah, man, yeah, you can. Give her some geek soda.
Well, she couldn't. She didn't have a ride pass. So
That's
her fault.
From NBC News, a Kentucky man admits to faking his own death to avoid paying over $100,000 in child support.
I believe that.
Dude, so this guy, Joseph Kipf, 39 years old, admitted to creating a fake death certificate for himself using stolen credentials from a doctor, according to a plea deal from his file last month. $100,000 seems like an awful lot of back child support, but maybe not. I have heard stories where that stuff adds up pretty quickly. But this does sound like a lot of work this guy went through to fake his own death. But I guess that's what you have to do in order to do it right.
Yeah. You know, it's funny. This is kind of a side deep dive. So.
And now deep dives with Dick.
Well, it's kind of crazy. Like in divorces and these kind of scenarios, there's so many legal means of doing things.
Mm-hmm.
And every case is unique. Like when I was doing my thing, you could literally fight somebody until you die in a divorce or in child support.
Sure.
Or like it is crazy what you're allowed to do.
Mm-hmm.
Because in my mind, I like to keep it simple. I'm like, this is what I'll do. This is what you'll do. Cool. Well, we can sign and we can do a blood oath or whatever it is.
Right.
Like, I mean, it's just kind of like my word's my bond, right? But then this kind of stuff is wild to me because did he just leave and go, oh, I don't have kids? And so he lived this double life where he like, oh, my name's...
Yeah, what do you do afterwards? Yeah, I don't know.
Because
we've talked about, faking your own death before. Didn't we come up with the determination that it's not indeed illegal to do so, right? I think it's not illegal.
Yeah.
So
I mean, you can literally create a whole new person.
Yeah, I think you can.
And
but now to do that to get out of something,
yeah.
I believe is indeed illegal. It says the defendant infiltrated other states' death registry systems using credentials he stole from other real people. The plea agreement states the defendant faked his own death in part in order to avoid, like I said, outstanding child support payments. It says, in addition, Kip admitted to hacking into private businesses, governmental, and corporate networks with information he stole from others and attempted to sell the access to the networks to buyers online. This guy was in a lot of stuff. Again, it seems like he's a lot of trouble. He went through a lot of trouble here.
Yeah, sounds like a smart guy.
Actually, he might be to be able to go through all this
in a weird
way. Yeah, yeah.
Well, what I love is the final judgment. It was he can maximum 7 years, $500,000 in fines per court record. So, good luck to you, bud.
Yeah, good luck to you.
I think that kind of stuff's crazy because imagine being the kid. And it's like you hit that age of 18 or whatever, and you have this like inspiration of finding out who you really are. Like, who's your dad? And you find him, you find these articles, and it's like, man, he really didn't want me as a kid. It's like
this guy went through a lot of trouble to not see me. I actually admire that.
Well, it's like that Alan DeLon
If you want
guy.
to leave, that's one thing. This guy went through a lot of trouble not to see me.
I
got to meet him now.
The Alan DeLon guy was sued by his own kid to prove that he was his kid because he never accepted him as his kid. Which is wild to me.
It is pretty wild.
And maybe because it was like an estate thing.
Dads don't do that. I'm going to go out here on a limb right now and say I disagree with all this. Dads, be good dads.
No, I think it's worth it. He banged a lot of hot chicks, so it's like...
Well, there is that.
And he clearly didn't care about...
Yeah, I guess you kind of have to weigh...
He didn't care about protection either.
Obviously, clearly.
He was the dominant. And... But, yeah, that's what... I love that kind of stuff, man.
You're going to love this. I think this story is right up your alley. A Japanese man sleeps only 30 minutes a day for 12 years. Would you like to guess why? And I think this is absolutely genius.
Why?
A Japanese man named Daisuke Hori has maintained a sleep routine of just 30 minutes per day for 12 years to, quote, double his life. Now, wait a minute. Is he mean because he's awake more than he would be normally? He's doubling his life because he's only getting 30 minutes of sleep? Or is he claiming that he will live twice as long because he's only sleeping 30 minutes a day? It's pretty funny.
Well, I mean, I guess it's all a perspective thing. Because, I mean, at the end of your life...
Loophole, guys. I get to live longer if I just don't sleep.
Well, I mean, I bet there's... If you really want to track your stats, you could probably argue like you lost so much because you slept half your life or
you absolutely.
a
I
fourth
think
of your life.
I've heard that you spend nearly a third of your life in line or waiting of some sort.
Or playing World of Warcraft.
Or playing World of Warcraft. So waiting and sleeping, you add those two together, it's probably half your life. So if you just can eliminate one of them, I've doubled it. It says on average, the human body requires around 6 to 8 hours of sleep for optimal health, in which we talked about that guy staying up for 12 days.
See, I don't like
just
that,
a couple weeks ago.
Because I actually love sleep. And I love to dream. Like, dreaming is like an addiction for me. Like, if I could choose to dream, I'm definitely, when I watched that movie Inception, I was like, yeah, I would totally be addicted to that. 100%.
I could see that.
Like, that would,
I mean, I could see you being addicted to
that'd
that.
be a no-brainer. Like, I want to go into a fantasy world. Cool. Hook me up. And, this guy's missing out on some good dreams.
He really is. He's 40 years old, and he's like a health and fitness guy. And the pictures of him there show him to be in really remarkable shape, 40-year-old or not. But it says, according to Mr. Horry, quote, as long as you exercise or drink coffee an hour before eating, you can stave off drowsiness. Buddy, the drowsiness is your body's way of telling you, I need to sleep.
Well,
Come on, man.
Well, one thing I'm wondering is, you know how people who we talked, I think, on a couple shows ago about the guy who tried to stay up for however long, the Twitch streamer guy.
Yeah, I was just saying. He
Yeah.
tried to stay awake
So-
for 12 days, right?
But there's a point I imagine you do the awakened sleep.
Yeah, you don't know the difference between what's awake and what's
What are,
asleep.
like,
You just kind of...
You know how some people can sleep with their eyes open?
No, I don't, actually.
Like, that's a real thing.
That's really weird.
And I wonder if this guy's encountered that and he doesn't know
Doesn't
yet.
know he's actually sleeping.
Wouldn't that be the craziest
Yeah.
thing?
Yeah, it says
You know
there's
how
a...
disappointed he'd be?
It says a Japanese TV followed him closely for 3 days on a reality show titled Will You Go With Me? I don't know.
Oh, that's a
The
great
show
title.
highlighted an instance where Horry slept for 26 minutes, woke up energized, had breakfast, went to work, and even hit the gym.
That's my next line when I'm like, hey, I'm going to go to the porta
Will you go with me?
I need to go to the porta potty. Will you go with me?
Here's a geek soda.
I don't believe it.
I don't know that I believe it either, but I'm one of these guys who has to sleep. I got to have 7-8 hours, 9 even a night, man. I cannot function without sleep.
Well, one thing that's driving me nuts is now, for me, in order to have like the best dreams, I have to wake up like 4 hours into sleep and then go back to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
And when I go back to sleep, it's crazy town. I have like the coolest dreams.
Coolest dreams.
But like I have to
That's when
wait.
the REM's kicking in.
So it has to be like 4 hours into the initial sleeping period, and then it's like, hey, I'm not reaching. Like for some reason, I get up. Like say I go to the restroom, or say I go let the dogs out, and then I'm like, oh, I can sleep for like 2 or 3 more hours.
Heck yeah.
And then right when I go to sleep, it's boom. Like I'm riding. I'm in Back to the Future Part 3, and I'm having the greatest time of my life. So, but I can't explain that because
That's the one where he goes to the Old West. That's pretty cool.
That'd be a tight dream.
Here's another extraordinary case. It says an 80-year-old Vietnamese man named Thai Ngoc, N-G-O-C, Ngoc, claims to have not slept for over 60 years. Calling BS on this. Ngoc says that after contracting a contracting a fever in 1962, he lost the ability to sleep. Doubtful, dude. Doubtful.
like
Says
it.
despite various therapies and sleeping pills, his insomnia remains unchanged. I don't buy it. All right, man. I think
Basically
we hit.
immortal.
Yeah, that's kind of what he's saying.
Hey,
Well-
what would be the most wild claim you've ever heard someone try to legitimately make?
Staying awake for 60 years has got to
I'm
be
talking
at
about
the
a person.
top.
Like a person, like say you're hanging out, you always meet some cuckoo people, and it's like, oh, I only eat spinach.
Eating 87 hot dogs in 10 minutes. Oh, wait, that was done over the weekend or 2 weeks ago now.
But I'm talking about real life.
I don't know, man.
Like someone you met.
Well, I can tell you right now, if you told me, I'm looking at you right now in your current condition with your floppy hair and your earbuds over your ears, slumped over in your chair, if you said, I could run a 4.40 right now.
But see, I never said that.
But you said, what would be the craziest thing? If you did, I'd think that would be pretty crazy.
Like
Because I'd look at you and be like, yeah, challenge accepted.
We had a guy on one of the shows here, and he claimed to be in Zen in his life that fixed his cancer.
Oh, nice.
But it was a weird way he was saying, because I didn't know he was saying that he cured his cancer because of the Zen, or it was like the health choices.
Ayahuasca. That's all I got to say.
And then at the very end, he's like, because of my Zen, I am cancer free. And I was like, I look at him, and I'm like, is this guy for real? Like, his stones and his meditation, cancer free.
Hey, it's the power of the mind. I believe it. In some cases, it could probably.
I mean, I was sitting there going
actually cure
like, and after the show, I was talking to the host, and I was like, did he just say he had a miracle? Like, that's what, but the way he was trying to sound all spiritual, but I was like, he basically had a miracle, right? Like, that's what I just heard. And it was
what it sounds
It was
like.
one of the wildest claims. Is like he believed his Zen.
What is your Zen cured? Nothing.
He found his Zen, and when he found his Zen,
Your
it
Zen
cured
makes a
his
radio
cancer.
show once a week. Big deal.
No.
Mine cured cancer.
My Zen, I don't know. I need like 12 beers. And I'll
That's your Zen. All right, man. It's time for the quick hit here at the end of part 2. Dick, are you familiar with what the President's Challenge is? This was the exercises that we used to do in elementary school.
Oh, I've heard
Do
of
you remember
this.
this program? I remember it. And it was one of these things where the PE teacher would be like, all right, we got to do the President's Challenge now. And it always sounded so amazing. We're like, what?
Yeah.
We're being challenged by the president? And you had to do like certain number of pull-ups and sit-ups and things like that, and then they would put it into some sort of national bank, and there'd be winners or whatever. Well, the President's Challenge was introduced by LBJ in 1966. It was designed to help motivate participants. International participants are also eligible to participate, and to improve regardless of activity and fitness level. So basically, you set a baseline, and you're trying to improve on it. However, the presidential campaign was discontinued in June of 2018. I was wondering if kids still did this, but apparently not. It was a fun time. I enjoyed the presidential challenge. Why? I was pretty good at it. I was a little pissed, though, because I remember the boys had to do, like, regular chin-ups, and the girls could just, like, stand in front of a bar and pull themselves to it while standing on the ground. Like, that's not fair. Let's get them to do chin-ups. The president would not approve.
Yeah. Well, what I love is if you look at the reason the Trump administration terminated it was the private sector had already created so many other tools that people can use for the same purpose.
Okay.
And what's wild to me is that could be true. That could be like, but you're also thinking about you as a child were doing this program.
Yes. This was for elementary school. At least that's when I did it.
Yeah. And I don't really remember doing this, but I remember doing like jump rope for heart and stuff.
Yeah,
like
there were
that.
some of those, yeah.
But that was a fundraiser. That wasn't necessarily like a challenge. But then now you just got TikTok to do all the challenges, right?
Yeah, it's been replaced by TikTok.
Well, no, there's challenges. Like they have
Sure, of
challenge,
course.
like 100 sit-ups a day, 100 push-ups a day.
Yeah, 3 geek sodas in one day. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, 3? How
Yeah.
big? 3 porta potties? But no, I don't really. It's just funny to me that the government like finally realized, oh hey, other things are doing the same thing. Like why are we?
What are we doing
Why
this
are we
for?
spending $2 million?
Then you always just make the kids feel really bad that couldn't like do nearly as many as everyone else, and my feelings were hurt and whatnot. I'm sure that had something to do with
That
it.
would be wild to be in today's school system.
Yeah.
Because like I from what I understand, it's like it's so. What is it? I would say dull.
Now we don't care about physical fitness.
Well, it's not even that. It's like it's not everyone gets a trophy kind of atmosphere, but it's more of. I wonder if they secretly pick kids for who are actually good. They just don't like telling other people in front of everyone, like, "Oh, he's really good. He should be doing this math." It's like, "Oh, we'll get him after class. We don't want to tell the whole school like this kid's
Right.
smart or this kid's good at football."
Right.
But then when you're, for some reason, football's okay to be really good at because everyone
That it
worships
is.
you,
They do.
right? They worshipped you, right?
No, yeah, because I was so good at football.
They worshipped me because I was the photographer, and I was the one who made you look good.
There you go. Got the lighting just right. Shadow on the upper lip. Dick, it was fun, bud. 2-part show.
Yeah,
we made it.
dude.
We made it. So the onesies, unbeknownst to you, double part. but this comes out in 2 separate weeks. I hope you enjoyed part 2. We will be back next week, probably, maybe, with a normal show. I don't know.
New time.
New time, Fridays, 10 a.m. Tell a friend, like, share, follow, spread the word. We would greatly appreciate
Ignore
it.
all the
Donut
graphics.
sponsor. Ignore the graphics, right?
It's not sponsored. Buy merch.
Buy merch.
You can buy it at irlonestar.com/AOO to find all of our shows and some nasty bathwater. That's what it is. That commercial's ridiculous. I love it. Andrew, I'll see you later.
Bye, buddy.
Bye.
Till next week. Bye.
Bye, onesies.